As you can see by the total scores, or the other scores and the total score, it deserves a higher score than that. But as you can see, it was really let down by the testing's complete and the scores are in, and this is the full review of the Brooks Glycerin Max. But before we get into it, a big shout out to my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong. I've got a link to their website in the description. Make sure you go check out that and check out all their running gear. And also guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And with the specs, so this one is a neutral max cushion road running shoe. Coming in at a pretty expensive price point here, $350 in Australia, $200 in the US. Now in the weight, scraping just under the 300 gram marks there, 10.5 ounces in a men's size 9. Now in the stack, we got 44 in the rear, 38 in the front, and that's going to give us a 6mm drop. And scores wise, so $350 for a training shoe, it's really hard to justify for me, 5.5 out of 10. And in the weight, it's not too bad for such a big chunky shoe. It doesn't really feel super heavy on the foot. It's not bad, 7 out of 10. And in the upper, the material that they're using here is called engineered air mesh. Now this material is very luxurious, premium, but it's thick and it's warm, and the breathability could be better. So this one is definitely suited to those winter conditions. We've got a really solid heel counter at the back here, a bit of an Achilles flare at the back, and a plush amount of padding around the heel collar there. That plush padding does roll into the tongue, but this tongue is not gusseted. It does fold up a little bit and just move slightly, but so I do wish this tongue was gusseted. Lacing system, it's slightly off center. It looks a bit weird, but it doesn't affect performance. Really thick, plush, puffy laces, haven't experienced those coming undone. The lockdown is absolutely excellent, no issues here. The fit, true to size in the length. In the width, it's pretty wide, not a super wide shoe, but pretty wide, but in general, this shoe has got a lot of volume, so lots of space for your feet to swell on those really long runs. The build quality is excellent here. Brooks have always got just amazing build quality. And the stepping comfort, well, this shoe, I've said it before in my other reviews, it's got to be the most comfortable shoe that you could ever put your foot in, especially for that first time feel. Now scores wise, in the upper, very, very luxurious upper. I like what they've done with it. I just think it's a little bit too hot here for the Australian conditions, but I know that this shoe is mainly released for the Northern Hemisphere where it's getting cooler at the moment. But really appreciate the quality here, 8.5 out of 10. And in the outsole, I absolutely love what Brooks have done here. So as you can see with their Rotac rubber on the bottom here, they haven't just covered the whole shoe that you see a lot of brands do, especially in their daily trainers. They've been really smart here. They've just got it in that segment, really thin little slithers of it at the bottom of the shoe, and that really lets the midsole do its thing. So it doesn't constrict the midsole in any way. It lets the midsole breathe and splay and really adds to the ride of the shoe. Now, really smart placement here, and the rubber compound is quite thick and the durability is absolutely excellent. So looking at my shoe here, I've got over 100 kilometers in this already, and it is barely touched, so it's barely scuffed through any of the outsole, which is absolutely amazing. The grip in this outsole again is excellent. So it's up there with the best grip. So it doesn't falter in the wet, really good on the dry as well. So excellent performance here in the outsole. A couple of other little features in the outsole, or at the bottom of the shoe. You can see it's got these really big crevices cut out through the midsole, through the bottom, that exposed foam. That again is going to add a little bit of bounce and softness to the ride. So you've got a big one in the bottom, and you've got these really sort of sharp crevices through the through the forefoot of the shoe. So I really like that there. Overall in the outsole, very, very happy here. Love what Brooks have done, 9 out of 10. And in the midsole, so this is where this shoe separates itself from the competitors. So brand new foam from Brooks, DNA tuned it's called, and it's been tuned in different areas of the shoe just to give you some different feedback as you roll through your foot strike. So I haven't seen this type of technology from any other brand, so this is just amazing from Brooks. So how this shoe is tuned, so it's actually got bigger type bubbles injected in the rear of the shoe, and that's to promote a really soft landing. And then as you go through the shoe, so it's got smaller bubbles injected through the forefoot, so it's tuned up through the forefoot, and that firms up the shoe just a little bit. It's going to make that forefoot a little bit more responsive and give you a little bit more pop as you roll through your foot strike. So really nice here. No plate in the shoe, but it's still a pretty rigid shoe, as you can see there, so pretty solid. And you're going to need a pretty stiff shoe because this has got some rocker geometry. So as you can see here, nice late rocker. So a late rocker is pretty rare in a jogging shoe, but Brooks have got it just right. So it's just late enough where you can just feel it at that jogging pace. And in the ride, well, Brooks have delivered something that I have not felt in a running shoe before. This DNA Tune does exactly what it claims. So you get a really soft landing here through the heel, and then as you roll through your foot strike, the foam just firms up gradually, and as you come onto the forefoot, it just firms up just enough, still a soft ride, but it just gets you digs you out of that foam, and then you get a nice little pop as you go onto the rocker, and away you go. So a very, very unique feeling, but its best property, this midsole, is just the amount of shock absorption it gives you from a hard surface. So it really just eats up the hard surface, it eats up the roads, eats up the concrete. It feels amazing on that. So you can do a nice big long recovery run in this shoe because it just eats up all the impact. Better than any other shoe on the market in my experience. Now, you would think that a shoe being so soft would be a little unstable. Well, for me, I don't find it unstable at all. It's got a really big, wide platform, so really hard to tip over. If you're a person that usually needs some stability, you may just check with your local experts at your local running shoe. Also check if you've got orthotics or anything, check with your podiatrist if this is the right shoe for you. And being so big and chunky, it's not so nimble on the foot, so you're not going to be changing directions, doing U-turns and jumping up and down gutters. So easy in this. This one is just a cruiser. And in the scores, well, I'm super impressed. It is just an amazing recovery day shoe, an amazing easy day shoe. As I said, it delivers something that I haven't felt before. I absolutely love it. 9.5 out of 10. And best shoe, so this is the Recovery Day King. So when your legs are beat up and you just want to tick them over, take all the shock absorption out, this is the #1 shoe on the market for that. Great for your easy days. It's going to be great for a daily trainer as well. Can you pick up the pace in this shoe? Well, I think it's way too big and chunky for that. There is a little bit of responsiveness through the forefoot if you want to pick it up a little bit up to steady pace, but by no means is this a fast shoe. Long runs. Well, I'm going to give it the tick for a long run, but not for those long runs where you've got some pace injected in it. This is just for a time on feet. The foam does get a little softer on those long runs, so at the later stages of your long run, so just be wary about that one. As I said, it's not the most efficient shoe. There certainly are more efficient long run shoes on the market. This one is just comfort plus. So some other options out there if you are considering this shoe. So the first shoe I mentioned is the New Balance More V5. So again, that one is targeted at your recovery, your easy days, and also some long runs. That one's going to be a little bit softer and squishier here. The drop as well, it's a little bit flatter, that shoe, but yeah, much lower price point. Next one I'll mention is the Asics Glide Ride Max. Again, it comes in at a much lower price point. That one it's probably a little bit more rocket in that shoe, so the rocket is a little bit earlier. It's still a really nice soft foam, but it's got a different type of softness. And the last shoe that I'll mention is the Hoka Skyward X. Now that shoe is going to be breaking the bank just like this shoe, but again, that one's targeted at the same types of runs. It's a really big or max stacked big rocket shoe. That one's got a plate in it, and I think that one comes in Australia at like $360, so a little bit more than this shoe. So this is the best recovery shoe that's on the market, and probably that's ever been created in my experience. So out of all the shoes that I've tested, this has got the best shock absorption properties out of all the shoes. So it's quite special in what it can do. So I love that Brooks have really just tried something new here, because I think it's worked. They've absolutely nailed it here. Do I think this shoe will work for everybody? No, I don't. I think the geometry may not get along with everyone, and some people, so heavier people, may find this shoe may be too soft, and lighter guys may find it too clunky and heavy. So I think I might fit that somewhere in the middle, but I absolutely love it. As you can see by the total scores, or the other scores and the total score, it deserves a higher score than that. But as you can see, it was really let down by the price. At $350, no training shoe, no matter how good it is, deserves to be at that price. If this was under $300, where I think it should sit, it would be absolutely amazing. But if you can afford this shoe, it's a definite buy from me. And if you think it's too expensive, just go check out the alternatives out there. But yeah, love what Brooks have done here. Amazing shoe, just wish it was cheaper. Improvements for the next model if they make another one. I wish they would just slim down this upper just a little bit, come up with a bit of a summer type upper version of it, and maybe just slim down the midsole just a little bit. So just make the shoe a little bit more nimble. That would be amazing. But anyway, guys, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. You got any questions regarding my time here, how it compares to anything else? I've got lots of comparison reviews with this shoe, but if you can't find anything that you're after there, just ask me in the comments. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.